Gently close your eyes. Do deep breathing. We'll chant Om once together. Synchronize the chanting of Om with your exhalation. Breathe in. Sahana vavatu, sahanau bhunaktu, sahaviryam karavavahai, tejasvinavaditamastu ma vitvishavahai. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Gently open your eyes. We'll chant from verses 11 to 15 of chapter 3. Devan bhavayatanena,
Devan bhavayatanena,
te deva bhavayantu vaha,
te deva bhavayantu vaha,
parasparam bhavayantaha,
parasparam bhavayantaha,
Shreyah paramavapsyatha,
Shreyah paramavapsyatha,
Ishtan bhogan hi vo devaha,
Ishtan bhogan hi vo devaha,
dasyante yajna bhavitaha,
Dasyante yajna bhavitaha,
Tairdattana pradayaibhyaha,
Tairdattana pradayaibhyaha,
Yo bhungte stena eva saha,
Yo bhungte stena eva saha,
Yajna shishtashinah santaha,
Yajna shishtashinah santaha,
Muchyante sarvakilbishaihi,
Muchyante sarvakilbishaihi,
Bhunjate te tvagam papaha,
Bhunjate te tvagam papaha,
Ye pachantyatmakaranat,
Ye pachantyatmakaranat,
Annad bhavanti bhutani,
Annad bhavanti bhutani,
Parjanyadanna sambhavaha,
Parjanyadanna sambhavaha,
Yajnat bhavati parjanyaha,
Yajnat bhavati parjanyaha,
Yajna कर्म समुद्भवः
यज्ञः कर्मसमुद्भवः
कर्म ब्रह्मोद्भवं विद्धि
कर्म ब्रह्मोद्भवं विद्धि
ब्रह्माक्षरसमुद्भवम्
ब्रह्माक्षरसमुद्भवम्
तस्मात् सर्वगतं ब्रह्म
तस्मात् सर्वगतं ब्रह्म
नित्यं यज्ञे प्रतिष्ठितम्
नित्यं यज्ञे प्रतिष्ठितम्
Hari Om, and a very good day to all of you. So, in the last few sessions, we have been seeing the different dimensions of Sant. Sant is derived from the word Sat. So we first saw that Sat means that which is good, dharmic. So dharma is what we first saw, and then in the last session we saw the other dimension, which is truth. So we generally think being truthful means just verbally speaking the truth at all times. So what I want you to understand is that that is a very narrow interpretation of the word truth, Satyam. That's why I gave you these two principles. Number one, acting according to your conscience, and number two, your thought, your emotions, that is bhavana, your speech and your actions all should be aligned. So supposing externally, that is verbally, you are speaking the truth, but emotions wise, your emotions are negative, then that is of no use. So what are your intentions? That is the key. Supposing you take, let us say, a very elderly lady, let's say she is 85 years old, to a doctor, and the doctor tests her and says that there is a problem in the heart. She will not live for more than 2 months. This is just an imaginary example. So he makes her sit outside and he calls you separately and tells you. Now, why is it that he is making her sit outside and telling you separately? Which means he is hiding the truth from her. But is that asatyam? Is that lying? You will not say that, because his intentions are good. Similarly, when you come out of that room, supposing the lady asks you, so what did the doctor say? Will you immediately blatantly tell her 2 months, just 2 months only you will live? You will not say that. Rather, you will say the doctor said that everything is fine, you're hale and healthy, don't worry. That's what you'll say to comfort her. Does that mean then you're not following Sat. No. In this context, even though you are hiding the truth verbally, your intentions are pure. So in the Mahabharata, we find that Lord Krishna, many a times, it looks as if he is manipulating. He says certain things which are not true verbally. So many people ask, if Krishna is doing this, from the Kaurava side, Shakuni also did that, then what is the difference? There's a world of a difference, because the bhavana, Krishna's bhavana, motive was to establish dharma, righteousness. It was done for the good, the long-term good of everyone. Whereas Shakuni's bhavana was not dharmic, it was adharmic. It was done for selfish purposes. There is a big difference. That's why I told you Arjavam, which is one aspect of truth, doesn't mean you become very rude. In the name of straightforwardness, you become very rude and blunt. It's not like that. In certain places you may have to be rude. See, it all varies from situation to situation. In certain places where you need to be diplomatic, you ought to be diplomatic. See, you're walking, you want to enter a room, there is a doorway. Let us say the doorway is a little small in terms of height. Now what will you do? Won't you bend down and go? This is common sense. You will not say, no, I will never bend down and I'll walk straight only. Then you will only be hit. So you should understand this in a deep way. That is why I first covered this aspect of acting according to one's conscience. When your bhavana is not okay, your conscience will not be clear. You may just externally say, oh, my conscience is clear and all that. But deep within you, I told you, no, Chitragupta, that there is a conscience that will be recording everything. So you may justify using logic, but when you get in touch with your conscience, it will exactly guide you. It will guide you to the path of truth. So when can you get attuned to your conscience? Only when your mind is relatively calm. See, conscience is like the sound of a pin dropping in a room. Now, when can you hear the sound of a pin dropping? Only when there is silence. That's why the phrase itself came, pin drop silence. No, when there is so much of silence that even when a pin drops, you can hear it. When there is a lot of noise in the room, you cannot hear the pin drop. That doesn't mean the pin is not dropping or there is no sound. There is, but you cannot hear it because there is so much of other sounds which are coming. Similarly, within yourself, when there are so many thoughts, so many emotions, when there is so much of noise within you, then you will not be able to hear what your conscience is telling you. That doesn't mean that there is no conscience. There is a conscience. but you are unable to get connected to it because of so much of stress, agitations, so much of noise. The inner noise is very high. So what should you do? You should do your sadhana on a daily basis, which will slowly remove all the sources of stress and agitations from within you. It will bring your mind under you. So when you keep doing your daily sadhana, the Yoga Sankirtan sadhana, you will find that progressively the mind will become calmer and calmer from within. I am not talking of temporary calmness, but truly from within. So when the mind becomes more and more calm, then the voice of conscience will become very loud. See, when the whole room is completely silent, let's say it's a soundproof room, a room which has been treated. In that, even the slightest of sounds will be heard very loudly. Some of you would have experienced that in the empowerment programs. Sometimes, it take you into deep silence. In certain empowerments, the deep silence has been highlighted. So when you go deep into that silence and when you're withdrawn, a small sound like a person may open the door very carefully. They may also be conscious that they should not make noise, and a slight creaking noise may come, but that will hit you like a thunderbolt, as if it's a very big sound. Later on, if you ask them, hey, why did you make that sound? That person will say, no, actually I was very careful. But when your eyes are open and when you're not in a meditative state, it's not about the door opening. So many other noises may be happening, but you will not really feel all that. You will not be disturbed by all that. I'm sure all of you would have experienced that. So it is the same thing which happens inside you also. Your conscience is a very subtle faculty. It is an aspect of what the yogis call as sukshma buddhi, subtle intellect. Tikshna buddhi means gross intellect. Using the gross intellect, you can analyze what's happening outside. Or even within you, at the surface level, you will be able to analyze. But when it comes to the higher spiritual truths, the gross intellect is not the equipment. It is the subtle intellect, the sukshma buddhi, which has to be awakened. And conscience is a part of that sukshma buddhi. It very clearly tells you whenever you're going wrong. It constantly keeps pointing to the right path, to the truth. Like the compass, it constantly points to the north. Similarly, the conscience always points towards the direction of truth. Wherever you are, whatever it is that is doing, all these things don't matter. This is something which is happening deep within you. So when there is so much of noise within you, you are unable to listen to your own conscience. Then what do? That is where surrender to the Guru is very helpful. Because a guru is actually a personification of your inner conscience. He is an external personification of your inner conscience, external manifestation, we can say. The guru and the conscience are one and the same thing. See, what is interesting is there is nothing like your conscience, my conscience and all that. Conscience is one and the same. You bring in 10 different compasses. All of them will point to the north only. There is nothing like your north, my north. Similarly, even though we are saying listen to your conscience, why that statement is made is as a sadhana, you can get in touch with the conscience only when you go deep within you. Therefore, we are saying your conscience. But the conscience within you is the same as a conscience in another person. So, there is only one universal conscience, we can say, which is an aspect of the Sukshma Buddhi, which in turn is attuned to the infinite supreme reality. So, if a person is able to follow the conscience, then he actually does not require the scriptures, because he will be attuned to the truth. Wherever he goes, he will be very dharmic. He will automatically do whatever is the right thing to do. He doesn't need to consult any books. But this is applicable only at a very advanced level. That's why I gave you that example of a pin dropping and the sound produced by the drop of a pin and the other external sounds. So, if you want to hear the pin dropping very clearly, then there has to be silence. So, you need to be in a very high level, a highly meditative state where your mind is perfectly calm. In that calmness, you will be able to hear the conscience very clearly. Till then, how do you manage? Simply surrender to the Guru. The Guru will mirror your conscience and tell you what you should do, what you should avoid, what should be done. Everything will be clearly spelt out, provided you surrender. Sometimes what he says may not be so pleasant to you. When I say you, I mean the ego in you. The ego will get hurt. But that doesn't matter. The Guru will not stop. He is like that compass only. He'll constantly keep pointing to the north, to the truth only. So when you surrender to the Guru and follow whatever advice which he gives, then even though you are not in touch with your conscience, you will be traveling in the path of truth. You will be protected. That is why in the Guru Stotram it is said, mantra moolam guror vakyam. Why all these statements have been made? Just to emphasize that following the path of truth is the real path of sadhana, is the path towards the infinite. So in between, your emotions will come and cloud your conscience, the various thoughts, the various attractions of the world, everything will come and create a lot of confusions. So you will lose your clarity. But if you are under the protection of your Guru, he will always keep guiding you in the right path. Otherwise, it becomes very difficult, because you will be caught up in the trap, that the trap of your own inner thoughts and emotions. It's very difficult to get out of that. See, once you get caught up in one line of thought, it's extremely difficult to get out of that and view it. That's what happened to Arjuna in the first chapter. When the emotions clouded him, emotions like weak pity and all that clouded his intellect. Now he got very confused. He didn't know what to do. And he went on rambling. He said, this should not be done, oh Krishna. So much of so-called logic was given, but there were clear loopholes in that logic. Why wasn't he clear about what he ought to do and what he had to do in life at that point? Because he was not in touch with his own conscience. So what is the solution? In the second chapter, he surrendered to Lord Krishna. He said, you are my Guru, I am your disciple, please guide me. For a person who is in touch with his or her conscience, this is not required, because he is already following the path of dharma, already following the path of truth. But for a person who is unable to do that, this is the path. Now again, the ego will play a lot of tricks, because the ego never wants to surrender. Some people ask me, sir, what is the exact process of surrender? Procedure, can you give us some tips how to surrender? No, that is not possible. Because what is prompting a person to ask that question is the ego, which is exactly the opposite of the mode of surrender. So the moment you ask for a process, should I bow down like this, or should I do this, all that, see, the ego is trying to trivialize that subtle quality of surrender by asking for a process. So the ego never wants to surrender. That is the very nature of ego. And whenever you find a person, a person who's caught up with his or her ego, let's say a person's ego increases so much, you will find that that person will never surrender. We can see that in the Puranas also. When a demon, a Rakshasa or an Asura, when he does a lot of tapas and gains many powers, he receives a lot of boons, and then he becomes egoistic about it. The moment he becomes egoistic, then he stops doing all this tapas and all that. No sadhana. He refuses to listen to anyone. That's how they have written in the Puranas, whether it is a character of Hiranyakashipu, whether it is a character of Ravana. You read that, it is very interesting. All the negative people in the Puranas, they all were great achievers. It's not that they were just ordinary people. They did a lot of tapas. Means they were achievers in their fields. Duryodhana was the number one warrior in terms of the weapon mace. He was actually technically better than Bhima. He had that polish. Bhima had raw power, but Duryodhana had that skill. That is how it is mentioned in the Mahabharata. Ravana was such a great person. He had a giant intellect, the gross intellect I'm talking of. The capacity for him to do tapas was tremendous. He ruled the three worlds. It is said that he brought all the planets that, under his control. Just imagine what amount of power. He was so knowledgeable. He was well versed in the Vedas. He was a master of the Jyotisha Shastra, the astrology. He was a great musician. He used to play the Veena, the Rudra Veena, so well. He was an excellent grammarian. We can go on. If you read the Ramayana, you will find that the qualities of Ravana were really amazing. Then what was wrong with him? It was just this one thing, that was his ego. All these things were used to feed his ego. If there was one person who could defeat Ravana, apart from Rama, it was Hanuman. He was also very talented. Then what is the difference between Hanuman and Ravana? He didn't have ego, he had ego. And Hanuman followed his conscience, whereas Ravana did not. So whenever the ego rises, it will not allow you to follow your conscience from within, and it will not allow you to surrender to the Guru also externally. So that is why they say that you have to be careful, because the ego is waiting to trade on all the tapas, all the sadhana which you do. So even when it is said that once you follow the truth, you don't require to surrender to the Guru externally, because you have already done it. Now immediately the ego will wake up and say, yes, I am following the truth. I don't require a Guru, Immediately it will come and try to pull you away from the path. So you need to be very vigilant. I am giving you this aspect of the truth because it is very relevant right now. We are going to have the Guru Purnima, the intense yogic sadhana of Guru Purnima, next month. So when you start practicing this, you will be able to receive maximum energy on that day. So before you get into criticizing others, doing this, all that, first you look within. You see whether you are in line. Are you in alignment or not? Are you following your conscience? So the moment you start following your conscience, your whole personality will get aligned. That is what we saw. Thought, word, deed, everything will get aligned. And you will also become very straightforward, simple. That is uprightness, arjavam. So these three facets are interconnected. And what can spoil the show, what can completely take you away from the path of truth is the ego, which is also very powerful. That's how they have shown, even in the Puranic stories, once the ego rises, those people are very powerful, but they meet their end finally. See, first they are rewarded for whatever hard work they have put in, for whatever tapas they have done. Once all that is exhausted, thereafter they meet their fate. See, even Ravana, it is very interesting. The night before he died at the hands of Rama, that is the day before that, what happened is Rama was able to defeat Ravana. And Ravana was without a bow, without the arrows, nothing, no chariot, nothing. So Rama had destroyed all that. And then he didn't kill him. He said, Ravana, with all the affection, he said, you're such a great person. I want you to give one more, I want to give you one more chance. Go tonight and reflect. Is what you're doing, is this right? You kidnapped Sita, who's my wife. Is that a dharmic action? So I'm giving you an opportunity. Why? Because you are such a great person, you are so talented. So reflect. Reflect means what? Get in touch with your conscience, he said. And then come back tomorrow. With unconditional love, Rama said that. So when Ravana went back, that night, his wife Mandodari could see a difference in Ravana's face. There was a saintly glow in his face. We say, Sant, he had become a Sant. Just that few minutes of a powerful conversation with Rama was enough. That energy blast changed him completely. So Ravana was sitting in a meditative state, truly meditative state. And when Mandodari saw that, she went and asked him, what happened? I heard that you were defeated by Rama today. He said, yes. Then why don't you return Sita? He said, no, I'm not going to do that. Mandodari was surprised. She said, why? After all this, you still want to hold on? He said, no, I have no ego now. I'm free of all that. Then why do you want to still hold on to Sita? Why not give her back to Rama? Because Rama has given you a chance. He said, when I saw Rama's eyes today, I could see unconditional love, pure love towards me. That hit me, that changed me. And I have become a different person. He had actually got in touch with his own conscience. So now he said, all along I've committed so many sins. I've taken it to that extreme point from where there is no return. The right end to this is that I have to go fight valiantly tomorrow and I have to get killed by Lord Rama. That will give me moksha. There is a deeper incident. Actually, Ravana was one of the gatekeepers of Vaikuntha. Gatekeepers of Vaikuntha, where Lord Vishnu was residing. In his previous births, they were Jaya, Vijaya, two gatekeepers. So they had got a curse. They were cursed by Sanat Kumaras to be born 3 times. And you will be, with hatred towards God. That was a curse which was given to them. So birth after birth, their karmas were reduced. So in the first birth, Ravana was Hiranyakashipu. Very, very violent, extremely dangerous, harmful. So then in the next birth he was Ravana. The karmas had reduced, the negative karmas. So that is why if we can say Hiranyakashipu was highly tamasik, he was an asura, whereas Ravana was a Rakshasa, one level down. That's why there were so many positive things also. And then in the next birth, he was born as Shishupala. Lord Krishna killed him. Shishupala, the whole negativity was there, but it was toned down further. It was only verbal abuses he hurled on God. It's a very powerful incident, So at that moment, that night, Ravana got in touch with his conscience, because the next layer of karma had to be burnt. That is how it was designed. And the karmas can be burnt only when you get in touch with your own conscience. That's why Rama gave him that one night. Of course, Rama knew that Ravana will not give back Sita. It's not that Rama does not know. Then why did he do that? Because Rama himself was an avatar, of Lord Vishnu. The relationship between Rama and Ravana was not that of what we are reading in that, that story of Ramayana. No, that went back, way back. He was one of the gatekeepers and he was extremely devoted to Lord Vishnu. So when Rama looked at Ravana with that unconditional love, he didn't look at Ravana per se. He looked at his own dear gatekeeper, his very deep devotee, and he addressed that person there. So this is what the conscience can do to any person. The moment you get attuned to that, it can create a complete transformation. The inner transformation happens so fast when the conscience element is awakened from within. But you will have to be prepared for that. When the ego is strong, suddenly when the conscience element is awakened, you will not be able to take it. Then you will stop doing your sadhana itself. That is why it is better to follow the external path first. You surrender to a guru, you get the guidance, you do the sadhana, slowly you get purified, and then when the conscience element is awakened from within, you become a very truthful person. Truthful in the real sense of the term. And then in the last session, we started this next dimension, which is reality. So that supreme reality, that infinite supreme reality, that is what it refers to. So a sant is one who is always attuned to that infinite supreme reality. You are not this physical body. You are not these emotions. You are not these thoughts. You are that infinite supreme reality. A sant is one who is established in this experience. I am not this body. I am not these various emotions and thoughts. I am that infinite, supreme reality. This is the ultimate truth. A person who experiences this is a true sant. Not a person who is calling himself a sant. See, actually, a spiritual person, he will never call himself spiritual because his focus will be on that infinite supreme reality. See, when we say sant, this is another interesting thing. A sant never considers himself as a sant. It is others who call him a sant. See, we are also seeing who is a sant, but what does he experience from within? That infinite supreme reality. Sometimes some people are very eager to tell others that, I have experienced infinite supreme reality. It means they have not experienced. Once you get established in that reality, there is no necessity or urge to communicate also, because you don't require any approval. I am an enlightened soul. Some people say. It means that person is not enlightened. It is the supreme grand state of being fully established in that infinite. So that is reality. And we are not talking of an intellectual understanding, we are talking about an experiential understanding. It is an experience. The logical mind has no place there. So when it is said, I am not the body, I am not the mind, I am not the intellect, I am that infinite supreme reality, you may understand it intellectually, or you may be able to feel it a little bit with devotion, but all that is not the whole truth. The whole truth is when you actually detach your consciousness from these limited equipments and expand your consciousness to become one with the infinite. That is when you can actually experience the reality. So again the ego can come and play tricks. Just because you have understood a few things, it may say, now have I become a realized soul? These kinds of questions it may ask. Don't fall a trap to that. Or just because you are able to feel a little bit because of your relative purity and devotion, immediately don't think, I've experienced God. Till you drop these limitations completely, you are not yet fully established. So that is this powerful dimension, reality. Now, how do we practicalize this? That also we'll see. How does this dimension of reality manifest in a sant from a practical point of view? See, when it is said, I am not the body, I am not the mind, I am not these various thoughts, I am that infinite supreme reality. When the Master said, Tattvamasi, that thou art, these are all experiential statements. That is a state which you need to get into. But we as we always do in the yogic approach, we also see what is a sadhana, what kind of sadhana you need to practice in order to get to that state. So the first thing which a sant practices is being factual. What is the opposite of being factual? Being opinionated, being colored. So as a sadhana, you need to take this up, you need to practice this. Then only you will become a powerful sadhak. That is, always deal with facts, not on hearsay. Don't conclude something just based on some gossip or some hearsay and all that. Your life should be based on facts. Learn to become more and more factual in your life. You can be factual when you practice that truth. See, all these dimensions are interrelated only. What happens is, your mind has its own beliefs, and your beliefs can be different from what the reality is actually. Now, those beliefs generate strong emotions, and you will form opinions based on those emotions. And once you form those opinions, then you will not be able to see the facts as they are. That is why the great yogis, they said, the world is a projection of your thoughts, of your own mind. Why did they say that? A person is lying on the road. Let us say an alcoholic is passing by. Now he will look at that person and say, oh, I think he must have fully drunk yesterday night. Yesterday he would have had a lot of alcohol. That is why in daytime also he is lying on the road, and he'll go. Supposing a tamasic person, a very lazy person passes by that side, he will look at that person and say, oh, how lazy he is. In broad daylight he is sleeping on the road, and then he'll go. If a person who is very calm, relaxed, if he were to pass by, he will say, oh, so much of traffic is there, so many people are walking here and there, a lot of noise is there. How calm that person is. All these are only opinions. But if a sant comes there, I am using the word sant because we are doing that, we are dealing with that a sant only here, no? A sant means a spiritual person. When a spiritual person comes there, he will not be opinionated. He will say, oh, that man is lying there on the road. That's all he'll say. If he wants to help, he'll say, let us find out whether anything is wrong so that we can help. He will not conclude anything just because he is seeing a person lying on the road. This is just an imaginary example which has been given to you. This example actually illustrates the difference between being opinionated and being factual. So as a sadhak, learn to be very factual about others and about yourself also. When a student approaches a guru for guidance, the more factual he is, the better it is for him or her. Because only when you are factual, you will be truthful. If you try to manipulate with your words, if you say, actually I was not stressed, but it's only because of this that my mind got this, like that, no, if you're going to go roundabout, then the Guru will not give you guidance. If you are factual to the core, then transformation becomes very easy, because you can locate the source of the problem very fast. There are many people who cannot accept their own negativities, so they try to camouflage those negativities. Why? Because they are not being factual. See, some time back, a sadhak, he had asked advice. That is his near and dear one, somebody, one of his family members, had been hospitalized. And he said, "Sir, my mind is so disturbed. I want to come out of that internal disturbance. What should I do?" So then I asked him, "What is the disturbance?" First he said, "I don't know." I said, "If you say you don't know, then no solution can be given. Because if I tell you what your disturbance is, that is of no use. In 1 second that can be done. I already know what is happening within you, but you have to discover it. So are you willing to do that?" He said, "Yes." "So what is your disturbance?" "I'm not sure." I said, "Close your eyes. Close your eyes and get in touch with your own conscience. See what is happening within you. What is that emotion which is there?" So he closed his eyes for a while and then he opened and said, "Sir, it is the emotion of fear." He was able to feel that. I said, "Okay, fear about what?" He said, "I don't know." Again, close your eyes. I was giving some healing to make him go within. So he closed his eyes and he went deep within himself and he found out the fear. So he opened his eyes and said, "Sir, the fear is that something will happen to that person, this family member, something will happen to her." So to which I asked him, "What do you mean something?" He said, "Something negative." I said, "Can you define it? Can you be very precise and pinpoint it?" He was unable to do so. So then I said, "Again, you go deep within. I want you to become very crystal clear about what is happening within you. Because if you don't even know what is happening within you with clarity, how can you release that? How can you come out of that?" So again, he went deep in meditation and then he opened and he just said this, "I am afraid that she will die." Factually. Now, what was interesting is, as he said, "Sir, I am afraid she will die," he said, "Sir, a kind of a transformation has happened. I think healing has happened." I said, "Don't think, healing has happened. It is true." The fear got released. So what is this process? See, this is one sadhana actually which is suggested by the great yogis. When it is done under the guidance of a guru, it becomes very powerful. That's what happened to him that day. It was a big eye-opener. So initially when he said, "I am disturbed, I want to get out, I want to release it," he was actually not clear about what was happening within him. There was no clarity. And then he said fear, and then something will happen. "I am afraid something will happen to her." So when he's saying something will happen, what is happening? The mind is not wanting to face the truth. The mind wants to run away from the facts. And as long as you want to run away from the facts will haunt you. So then when some healing was given and he went deep within, he got the courage to face the facts. And that fact was, I am afraid that that person will die. He spelt it out so clearly. And when he said that, he started off with fear. That is, his voice was trembling. But by the time he completed that, his voice became quite straight in the sense, no trembling, no fear whatsoever. He had completely released that fear. This is the power of being factual. So don't hide from facts. The more you hide, the more difficult it will become for you. See, even though when I say be factual, it looks like a very simple sadhana. But when you go deep into it, see, I gave you this example of this sadhak just to illustrate that how deep you can practice this sadhana and how deep this sadhana can help you also. So when you go on practicing being factual, when you do your sadhana every day, so many things may come up. You will not shy away from all that. You will not lose your composure. You will just keep to this path of being factual. And that will really, really help you to release whatever you don't want to keep in your mind. The more you run away from facts, the more difficult you will find. Life itself will become very complicated. So externally, practice being factual when it comes to others. Don't conclude and judge just like that. In any situation, get to the basic facts. Whenever there is any problem, now get to the basics. Then you will be able to see the cause and effect. This is what has caused this negative effect. So you can find a solution. Then when it comes to the internal sadhana, learn to be factual about yourself. So when you keep on practicing this sadhana of being factual, what will happen is you will slowly become objective in life. That is the next dimension of reality, objectivity. Objectivity is that capacity to stand apart from a situation and view it. When you're watching a movie, you're naturally objective. Why? Because you're standing apart and watching the movie. Let us say there is some comedy scene in the movie. You will laugh here. There is a tragic scene, a sorrowful scene. Now you will also feel that sorrow, but you will not get toppled over by that sorrow. Why? Because you know that that is a movie and you're standing apart. You're objective with respect to a movie. That ability to detach yourself from the situation, stand apart and then view it. That is what we mean by objectivity. And the highest level of objectivity is when you're able to stand apart from your physical body, stand apart from your own emotions, stand apart from your own thoughts. That is a time when you can experience the infinite. So, practice of objectivity will lead you to that ultimate meditation, which is called Advaita Dhyana, where you are objective towards your own material equipments. But how do you start? From where do you start? You start from external situations. You start practicing to be factual without bringing in your opinion. Today it is hot. Now you may ask me, sir, what is, if it is hot outside, I am going to say it is hot. What is a big sadhana on that? It is not that. To be totally unaffected, to be in the neutral position and just to observe things as they are. I am only dramatizing and saying it is hot. That person is behaving this way. Just being factual about it and stopping there. No ifs, no buts. Not forming any judgments or opinions, not getting affected by that. That is the state of objectivity. So when you are practicing being factual, it will automatically push you into the state of objectivity. So you can start practicing this with small things. That's why I gave you the example of the climate or the weather, Today it is hot. Oh, it is so hot, my God, that is getting affected. You lost your objectivity. This food is tasting good. This food is not tasting so well. Please don't tell it to others. Don't say, don't go to your spouse now. Supposing he or she has cooked a dish for you, take it. This food is not good today. Now then you will have to face the consequences of that. Why did you say that? Because Yogishri said be factual. It's not, I am talking about an internal sadhana. So start practicing this with respect to simple things in life first. Being very factual, which will give you that objectivity. Objectivity means there is a space between you and the world. The opposite of objectivity is to get involved. Being focused is different from being involved. Please understand this. A spiritual person is very focused. He goes through all the emotions of life, but he is objective. So you first start from external things, then the behavior of others. Supposing a person behaves in an unruly way. Oh, that person is behaving like this. That is objectivity. If you are able to get to that level where you can see the behavior of others and just be factual about it, without judging, without getting affected, without getting irritated, that itself is a very high level of objectivity. Then after that, you can slowly start practicing with respect to your physical body. See, so external things, even your wealth also. I have so much of wealth. You can be factual about it. I am wealthy or I am not wealthy. I am healthy. There is pain in this part. So you will start being very factual. Then you come to your own physical body. That's the health part, which I was saying. With respect to your physical body, you should learn to become factual. See, many people suffer from complexes because they are not happy about their physical body. Like one sadhak, she has sent a mail saying that I just hate my body. Why? Because the body is obese. So if that is the kind of emotion which you are going to give to your body, now how do you expect the body to respond in a positive way? So she has asked the question, what should I do? She says, I am trying to practice gratitude and all that is not at the deeper level. Deep within you, what is that emotion which is being generated? That of hatred. So first step is you learn to become objective. My body is like this. See, sometimes you may be healthy, sometimes there may be some pains and all that. If you learn to become objective about that, incidentally, you will be able to release the pain from its root. The healing will happen very fast because you are all sadhaks, you are doing your sadhana. You are doing the Yoga Sankirtan sadhana every day. That is directly, it is aimed towards direct upliftment of your consciousness. And then you have done the various empowerments. For example, the Kaya Tattva, which deals with the wisdom of the body, the physical health. Now, when you are practicing the Kaya Tattva meditations, this objectivity will help in absorbing the energy of the Kaya Tattva meditations. You will find your health will start improving automatically. Then after that you can start practicing with respect to your own emotions. I am feeling calm, I am feeling disturbed, I am having fear, I am getting angry, I am feeling jealous, I am feeling very cheerful, I feel like blessing the other person, whatever it is, positive or negative, without getting involved. If you can look at your own emotions as if you are looking at the third person, that is a very high level of objectivity. The guru will be able to easily guide when the student becomes objective. It is only to a very objective person the guru will be able to give higher empowerments. Then you become objective about your own thoughts. I have this thought, I have that thought. You start detaching yourself from your thoughts. And then there are further higher levels of objectivity also. You become objective about your own karmas. That is a very advanced level. When you become a very advanced yogi, you can actually see your own karmic body where the karmas are stored, and you become objective about your karmas. And when you thus practice objectivity to such deeper and deeper levels, where will it take you? At one point of time, you will stand apart completely from the finite and you will merge with the infinite. This is how you move from the finite to the infinite. So these are two powerful sadhana tools which have been given to you today. Being factual and being objective. Both are interrelated. So start practicing it from your level. Don't try to emulate a yogi artificially. It will not work. Whatever your level is, be factual about it. I am at 10% level means I am at 10% level. See, it's like, in education system, the student has to be factual, no? I am in first standard means I am in first standard. Then only he will be able to move to the second standard. If he thinks that no, I am in PhD when he is in first, how will he be able to move to the next level? So start becoming factual in your life and practice a little bit of objectivity. You can't do it beyond your capacity, that will frustrate you. So little by little, as it is said, shanai shanaihi means slowly, little by little, you practice these two sadhanas. Very, very powerful. They will create such a big transformation. You will find that you will not be so agitated by the world slowly. That it's a gradual process of transformation. These are all wonderful tips which are being given to you to be practiced along with your personal sadhana of Yoga Sankirtan and the empowerment meditations and all that. These are not substitutes for that. That also I am putting a word of caution. So we'll stop with that. Very powerful tips have been given. You reflect, you do the homework a bit and come back. In the next session we'll go into more depth. So before we do the Nididhyasana meditation, I will take up a question. Dearest Yogishri, Hari Om. This is a doubt regarding today's discourse. The background. In today's discourse, you had mentioned that we should be trustworthy and responsible in all aspects of life. Yes, that is the dimension of goodness, dharma, it was said. So generally at work, a good employee is rewarded with a higher workload. So if I become a trustworthy and responsible person at office, recently I have become, most of the important urgent work comes to me. Considering that we have to go to court and do office work after, it's very difficult to finish within 8 hours. So now I have started to use health reasons, leaves, and my wife's pregnancy as reasons to avoid some important work, and hence it goes to someone else. Other average workers don't get these kinds of work and they just do their 8 hours per day and leave. Also another factor is in promotions. If I do very good work, that doesn't automatically mean I'll get promoted ahead of my peers, since it's largely based on seniority. So it's not like I have any benefit of doing all this extra work. I still get the same salary, same promotion, maybe a slight edge over others, but nothing significant. The language itself, same promotion, same thing. And on the other hand, there is actually a downside to being this way, because since I spend so much time at work, my other aspects of life get affected. So the question, how do I balance both so that I can be trustworthy and responsible yet not be overburdened at work? I am not saying I should be completely irresponsible, but should I be averagely, you used the word average, okay, should I be averagely trustworthy and responsible? Thank you so much, Yogishri, with lots and lots of love, affection and gratitude. So it's a very interesting question which he has asked. Let's take this scenario itself. When you are more trustworthy and responsible, the management start giving you a lot of work. Now, see, you have said that I have become trustworthy and responsible. Actually, that is not true. You are in the process of becoming trustworthy and responsible. You are making a sincere attempt. I'll tell you the reason. If you become truly trustworthy and responsible, and also I told you, you should also practice that lightheartedness, then there will be no complaints regarding that. You will happily take up more responsibility. That will no longer be a burden. See, when a person is not responsible, then when more responsibility is given to him, it will be a burden for him. But when you are inherently responsible, you will take responsibility in a very easy way. You will be very comfortable with that. This is the first point. So you are practicing this, but you have not yet got fully established in that. That is why all these problems are arising within your mind. This is number one. Number two, you are equating responsibility with the quantity of work. You are saying, if I don't take up responsibility, I can go away in so many hours. It's not that. See, along with responsibility and trustworthiness, so many other qualities are also being given. Like for example, We saw the alignment of thought, word and deed. See, when you practice all that, I did mention it actually, your productivity will increase. So the time taken for you to complete your task will start reducing. So you will have the more time to take up more work, more responsibility. So responsibility is an inner quality and the quantity of time is something which is external. So don't confuse these two. Number 3, you're talking about promotions in comparison to others. You're saying whether a person is responsible or not in our structure, wherever you're working, the promotion is got only by seniority. Now, that is not true. See, it looks very logical when you say it, because this is the system, sir. This is what the truth is. You may say that. But in the same systems where seniority alone is valued, that's how you're portraying it, there have been many cases where people have had tremendous growth at a young age also. And if you become so responsible and trustworthy, you will get an environment which starts appreciating that and starts rewarding you for that. This is the law of karma. You need to understand it deeply and trust it. So you don't become responsible and trustworthy in order to get promotions. First of all, you should not compare yourself with others. You are saying, if the other person is not doing, he will also get promotion. Even he will also not get promotion. I will also not get promotion. See, that language itself, no promotion, no salary increase, no nothing. So that itself has become a kind of a habit. So what the energy which I can see behind this question is, I'm only directly telling you this so that it gives you more clarity. I'm telling you this factually. The energy is, you're wanting shortcuts. You want to get to the top at a very short period of time. Now you should release that quality. Instead, become more trustworthy, take up more responsibilities, increase the quality of your work. For what? Not for promotions, just for the sake of it. There is so much of happiness in being trustworthy. There is so much of happiness in being responsible. There is so much of happiness in increasing the quality of your work. Whether others recognize it or not, that is secondary, that comes later. But first, you should learn to practice all this for the sake of those qualities. Even if nobody is looking at you, even if you get no rewards, still you should be responsible. That is sattva, that is the sattvic quality. Incidentally, when you practice all this, you will find miracles happening in your life. I can give you so many examples from our own sadhaks, where they have said, one person, he was at the managerial level, and he told me, sir, I want to become a director, but it's not possible in my system. I said, why? Because there are 6 promotions required. Each promotion will take 3 years. That is like the seniority order which you're saying, no? So 18 years. But when he asked me, he was in his 50s, early 50s. He said, it's not possible. I said, if you say it's not possible, it will not be possible. But do you have the trust? Yes. We are invoking the higher Shakti, the Sanjeevani Shakti, which is the life-giving force. And you're doing the highest sadhana of Yoga Sankirtan. So I said, with full faith, if you put that as a goal and start doing your sadhana, are you prepared to do that? Do you have trust in the words of the Guru? Do you have trust in the sadhana which you're doing? So with a pure mind, he said, yes, sir. Then I said, do it. Let's see what happens. He did it. And he was so surprised, because within 2 months, he got 3 promotions and he became a general manager. for various reasons, And then from gentleman, another 3 more promotions had to happen. But he printed the general manager visiting card, and he collected those cards, and he was coming. Actually, he had sought an appointment from me because he wanted to give me that card and take some blessings. As he was coming in the car, he got a call saying that his company had merged with some other multinational, and that multinational, when they took over, they were doing a lot of changes. They were bringing about a lot of changes. In that process, they started identifying people with potential, and he was one such person whom that management had identified, and they wanted to give him training. They made him the director, and immediate training, special training was given to him, so that that gap is bridged, because he has been promoted directly. As he was coming in the car to give the visiting card, he got a call from his office saying, now you're a director. He didn't use that card which he had printed as a general manager. This happened within a few months. Now this is a real life incident which I am sharing with you. It happened to one of us. Like this, there are so many examples. It is all up to you only. Again, don't do the sadhana so that within a few months I'll become a. It's not like that. You do your sadhana in a pure way. Practice these qualities for their sake. Even if you have to meet with failure, be responsible. What does that got to do with this? There is a happiness in that. And when you build that kind of energy, success will come to you. This is the law of karma. It is more precise than the most precise mathematical law. Okay, so you think about whatever points have been given to you, start practicing them, you will find a lot of changes happening. So now we'll do the Nididhyasana meditation. Gently close your eyes. Do deep breathing. With every breath, I am becoming more and more relaxed. Feel the divine vibrations. With every breath, I am going deeper and deeper into myself. I am not this physical body. I am not these emotions. I am not these thoughts. I am that infinite, supreme reality. From this moment onwards, I choose to be factual in my life. I choose to master the sadhana of objectivity. I am Swayam Prakashit, self-illuminating. Offer your gratitude to God Supreme. offer your gratitude to your Guru and all the holy masters. Wriggle your fingers, your toes, open and close your palms a few times. Rub your palms together to create a warmth. And cup your eyes with your palms. Gently rub your eyes, your cheeks, forehead, the top of your head, the back of your head, your neck, and slowly open your eyes. Welcome back. So we had yet another powerful session today. These dimensions have the power to change you completely. These things are being given with so much of depth. So you should also tune in and absorb the energy of whatever is being given in a deep way. It's not beyond your capacity. It's well within your reach. The more sincere you are as a sadhak, the more benefits you will keep on receiving. Infinite benefits. Okay? So I'll see you in the next session. Thank you very much. Hari Om.